Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone, and hello and welcome. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well as well. Thank you for being here for my first of 2 daily gameplay streams. Today is the final day. The absolute final day of November, everybody. That means a few things, okay? It means that number one, today is the final day where you can pledge to my Patreon and get in on the upcoming Holiday Gaming Marathon event. I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. Number two, it means that we are all firmly heading into the festive holiday season. And we're all hoping, obviously, that everyone has a good holiday season, that everything goes well for everybody, obviously. It means that there's going to be lots of festive holiday-themed stuff going on my content this month coming up. Which is pretty cool, of course. We got new games on the horizon to look forward to. And it also means that I'm going to be wrapping up a lot of my ongoing playthroughs. For those of you who have been following me for the past few months here on stream, you know that I've had quite a few games that have been quite lengthy. I mean, this has been definitely the year of the lengthy game. A lot of the games I buy end up being 20, 30, 40, 80-hour playthroughs, right? Pretty nuts. The amount of content that we've actually gotten out of many of the games that have come out over the past few months. That being said, when I've been playing a game for 2-3 months, albeit on and off, it's not that I'm playing the games every day. Sometimes they can wear out their welcome. Sometimes people can be like, wow, you're still playing this game? And a lot of people who maybe have been looking for the ending of certain playthroughs are like, man, is it ever going to come? You know what I mean? And I totally understand that. I get that. The good news is, it looks like this coming week we may be wrapping up quite a lot of stuff. Okay, which is a good thing, obviously. And starting up some new ongoing stuff. We got a lot to talk about today. Let's very quickly jump into it. First of all, today is Friday, November 30th, 2018. Being that it is the final day of the month, what I would like to say is thank you to anyone who this month attended my streams, anyone who contributed to my streams. Keep in mind, this was a month that originally was going to be chock full of brand new content with games such as Overkill's The Walking Dead's Final Season Episode 3, Fallout 76, and Battlefield 5. However, either those games don't exist, in some cases, or they ended up being tremendous disappointments. Alright? So this month ended up being kind of reformulated and reshaped several times during the course of the month, with me trying to do stuff on the fly and tossing audibles in there. And, you know, it ended up still being a good month in my opinion. And if you actually were here for the daily streams, you probably had a good time, which is a good thing. At least the overall feedback I've gotten was that the streams were quite good. But, you know, when you have a month where you were supposed to have all these new releases and half of them literally either didn't exist or are just complete and utter flops that I skipped, in the case of Fallout 76 and Battlefield 5, you just kind of got to say shrug and say, well, at least we kind of still adapted and did what we could, right? So, FYI, let's talk about the schedule coming up so you guys know exactly what's going on and what to expect. Then we'll talk about the upcoming events in December, because there are several events coming up, including an Indies Marathon, a Christmas Gaming Marathon, a Christmas podcast, amongst my coverage of a brand new game that's very hot that everyone's going to be talking about, and the potential start of a new playthrough, etc. So we'll talk all about that. Of course, my year-end series as well. We'll talk all about that. You know, and then we'll get to our usual, our little plug segment, our shout-outs, and all that going on, okay? So, today, ladies and gentlemen, after almost a full week away, you know, trying out other things like Darksiders 3, today we're returning to Spyro, the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, and we're almost done. For those who have been following the playthrough, I believe it said we're like 59%, and the last time I played, I think it said 38, so what's looking to me is like another maybe 2 sessions of Spyro, and we're going to wrap it up. I've been enjoying Spyro 3, although admittedly it is, I would say, more difficult than Spyro 2 was. At least in regards to some of the stages, like the Skyway or the Speedway was quite challenging. And that was only the second one in the game. And there have been a lot of different things in the game that have been a little tricky. Although, admittedly, I definitely like the game because it has a variety of characters, and I like being able to control different characters and playing different stages with different gameplay mechanics rather than just being Spyro in every single stage, okay? But yeah, but the rate I've been going is around 20 to 25% completion per stream, so it's looking like maybe 2 more streams and we're going to wrap up the Spyro trilogy. Now, some have asked, am I going to go back and play Spyro 1? The answer right now is absolutely not yet. I played Spyro 1 a year ago. I 100%ed the game. I seriously don't see the need to go back and replay the game immediately again. Okay? But in the future, for downtime and the like, I own the trilogy, so I have the capability to go back and replay Spyro 1 if I feel like it. Okay? Tonight, I'm going to be playing some Red Dead Redemption 2 online. I played it last night for the first time for about 2 hours, and my honest feelings about it was that the first hour was just intro. I was creating a character who ended up being hilariously hideous. I didn't mean to make him look like this, but his face is all swollen. It looks like he, like, ate a bunch of bees and they stung the shit out of his mouth from the inside and swelled up. It's really gross. Then when I finally started playing, I said, well, the first thing I want to do, I want to go into one of these showdown showcases, I guess, which is basically a playlist where you just do various game modes. And the game has its typical game mode you would expect. It's got Team Deathmatch, it's got Free-for-All, it's got a Battle Royal mode that's kind of interesting. And I played it for about an hour, and basically, not that it's bad, but the gunplay is so different from any other third-person shooter I've ever played. The controls are very, very floaty and wonky. Like, it's very hard to control your character. Once you get momentum started, they won't stop, they won't turn. It's hard to get them to even go in the direction you want. It's very hard to, on the fly, aim for anything. A lot of the times, the guy's right in front of me, I would go to draw and shoot him, I couldn't do it, and I just die instantly. Apparently, there's a way to basically work on a headshot and get a headshot and almost instantly kill people every time. I haven't figured it out yet because I keep trying and it just doesn't work for me. But basically, it was kind of meh. It, like, from what I played last night, it wasn't bad, and I definitely know if I keep playing it, I'll get better at it. But it also wasn't like, wow, I'm so blown away. This is so cool and different and revolutionary. It felt kind of like Red Dead 1 Online. It didn't really feel like there was much added to it. Now, keep in mind, I just did this one standard playlist. There's a lot more to the online. Apparently, there's a story mode, there's side missions, and there's free roam. So more than likely tonight when I jump back into Red Dead Online, what I'll do is maybe do a few story missions and see what happens with them. And then probably do some free roam. Remember, you can actually go down to most of the areas that existed in Red Dead 1. And I can even maybe try to go back to the areas where I did Suicide Kings back in 2010, where I was trying to find the highest jumps and the places where you could, like, toss yourself off a cliff and do these hilarious physics as you fell. I guess I could try to do that kind of stuff again. Okay? In fact, I would definitely say that's one of the main things I would like to do with Red Dead Online. Now, the other thing is, some people have asked, am I going to be doing co-op with people? The answer is, I would love to. However, right now, I'm just trying to see what the hell the online mode is. Before I set up any kind of co-op, at least let me try to figure out what's capable in it. Alright? And then once I get a little bit of a flavor for what exactly is possible, then maybe once I start wrapping up the game playthroughs I've been doing, i.e. Spyro, Assassin's Creed, etc., these games that have been these long ongoing playthroughs, once they're done, then maybe I can start scheduling major sessions. I'll do a 4-hour session where I'll invite, a group of people to come with me, and we go through and we voice communicate and we figure out what we want to do and try to do some fun stuff in the game. Because that's actually, people don't realize this, but when I did Suicide Kings back in the day, that's how it came about. It was just me, Rambo, and a couple randoms who teamed up and were just riding around trying to find shit to do. And even though it wasn't live streamed, it was just us dicking around trying to find stuff. And then we would find stuff and record it, and it would end up becoming really, comedy gold. So maybe it'll be the same thing. All right, we'll see. We have to see how it goes. All right. But tonight, 2 more hours at least of Red Dead Online 2, or Red Dead 2 Online. And I'm going to see what else I can find. It's just exploration at this point. It's not me tearing heavily into it. It's not me doing scripted co-op, anything like that. It's just me just kind of messing around with it tonight. Okay? Tomorrow, we go back to more, like, mainstream scheduled streaming. So, for example, tomorrow will be Darksiders 3. Will it be the conclusion of Darksiders 3? I don't know. People have reported the game's only 12 hours long. From what I'm to see, I'm in the 4th of 6 areas in the game. And I've been in this area for quite some time, so maybe tomorrow I'll finish up this area and it'll unlock the final 2 areas. I have no idea. I guess we're going to see for ourselves tomorrow what happens with Darksiders 3, okay? By the way, for those who have not been following the playthrough, Darksiders 3 has grown on me. The more I play it, I think the more I like it. At first, I absolutely hated it because at the beginning of the game, you're incredibly weak and you basically, combat is pretty bad. But now that I've upgraded my weapons and abilities, I actually think the game is it's a lot better. Let's put it that way. Is it good? Yeah, the combat leaves a lot to be desired. But definitely the open world exploration, the puzzles and stuff has been pretty fun in the plot, too. So, I am actually excited to jump back into Darksiders 3 tomorrow, just after playing it, 2 straight streaming days in a row. I wanted to give it a rest today, okay? Tomorrow night, I'm probably going to be doing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm pretty sure that's what I put into the schedule. And for those who've been following that playthrough, I'm finally, after about 40 hours of gameplay, I'm finally approaching the end of the game. I think I'm like level 36 or about to hit level 37. And basically you can beat the game's main story around level 40. So if I just keep going with what I'm doing in the game, I can pretty much wrap it up, within 1 to 2 more sessions. Now, there's other content in the game, optional mythical creatures that I could fight. However, to fight those, you have to basically level up artificially, meaning side content out the butt. And you have to hit about level 50 in order to kill all those. So, I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I know Kat told me she actually killed the first 2 mythical creatures at level 41. But then there was no way she could do the final one. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes with that tomorrow night. Another few hours of, progress. Then on Sunday, I'm going to do 1 gameplay stream. And more than likely, it's going to be Spyro. And it might be the conclusion of Spyro, depending on how far I get today and how things go. I would love to wrap up Spyro 3 on Sunday and say, finally, all right, that's 1 playthrough completed. But we'll see how it goes, okay? Sunday night, I am not streaming. The reason being is because many things. Number 1, I need to do patron stuff. This is going to be a new month starting up December. And what happens is within the first couple of days of each new month, pledges process for patrons. And so Sunday night, I need to see who's, pledges processed. And I need to contact those patrons and get their perks going. In particular, those who are going to be nominating and voting on games for my upcoming holiday marathon and need to get that access quickly within that first week of the month. So I'm going to get that going right away this coming Sunday night. Plus, I've got some bills to pay. I got some personal stuff to do around the house. So I'm taking Sunday away from streaming. But then Monday I'm back with double streams. What will they be? It depends. Because what we're going to see is, did I actually beat Spyro? Did I actually beat Darksiders? Or these ongoing playthroughs. If they are, maybe wrap those up. And depending on how stuff goes, perhaps next week I will schedule a main stream of Red Dead Online, where if people actually want to co-op with me, they can join me and we can go around and try to do deliberate stuff together as a posse. All right, and see what we can figure out, in that regard. Also coming this week, I do want to return to Dragon Quest. I do want to definitely do more post-game of Dragon Quest. I've gotten really far now and unlocked some of the best items in the game. And we got some fun missions and bosses coming up. So I definitely want to do a stream or 2 of that. Also, Black Ops 4 Blackout. I will be doing my at least weekly stream of Blackout coming up this week. Alright? So all this stuff is coming up. Now, the big impending new release is Super Smash Bros. Melee. Or excuse me, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Not Melee. Melee's pretty old. That's coming up on Friday the 7th. And what I'm thinking of doing is the day before doing an Indies Marathon. Because I owe you guys an Indies Marathon from hitting a sub goal a few months ago. And this Indies Marathon is going to cover a variety of games, including Minecraft on consoles, which I'm going to play on the Xbox One. I've been recommended that's the version I should play because it's the better version that's updated all the time. A game called Axiom Verge. Returning to I Wanna Be the Guy. Amongst other things. I think there's 6 games that were in the running here. And I'm going to choose at least 4 to play and maybe have 1 or 2 as backup games, depending on how this goes. Okay, so that's coming up. I think that's going to be, like I said, that Thursday, the 6th, before I begin my coverage of Smash Ultimate. Okay? So ideally, what I'd like to happen here, okay, is I'd like to wrap up Spyro, I'd like to wrap up Darksiders, and even if possible, maybe even wrap up Assassin's Creed Odyssey before we hit the new stuff, before I do the Indies Marathon, before I do Smash, because once I start playing Smash Ultimate, apparently the game has an incredible amount of content, including a robust story mode, even though apparently it's not as good as the one two games ago on the Wii, but it's still decent. And of course, a ridiculously large cast where I'll be able to do all kinds of stuff with them in different modes and go online and play against people. I think it'll be a lot of fun. But, you know, that being said, I don't want to start playing that with 5 other lingering playthroughs. You know, 1 or 2 is okay. If I'm still playing Dragon Quest, okay. If I'm still doing a session of Blackout here or there, that's perfectly fine. But not, oh, I've got 3 other lingering playthroughs now that don't finish, because now I start to cover Smash. You know what I mean? In addition to that, once I do start to finish some of these playthroughs, and in particular, once it looks like I wrap up, Dragon Quest, I'm going to be starting another style of RPG, but which one I'm not sure. I have a few options. Number 1 would be Shenmue 2, which I was thinking of playing during the month of December, January, before Kingdom Hearts comes out, as an RPG to balance with everything else. However, I've heard the game is insanely long. People are telling me the game, it could be like 40 to 60 hours long. And quite frankly, I know I'm not going to beat it if that's the case. I know I'm not going to beat it before Kingdom Hearts comes out. So maybe this is not the right time to play it. Another game that I definitely want to play is Final Fantasy IV. This is a game I've always wanted to play for you guys. Like, I've always wanted to play it. It's the original RPG that I played as a kid that got me into JRPGs. And I've always wanted to do a playthrough of it and never had a chance to. I just purchased it on the PC on Steam. It was a half-price deal. So I got it for like $7 or something like that. And it has tons of content. It has great redone graphics that are from the Nintendo 3DS, only upgraded for HD for the PC. Like, I'm actually really excited to play Final Fantasy IV. Okay? So that being said, I'm not sure. And there's other stuff I could do too. You know, some people have suggested, why don't you do a run through Dark Souls Remastered as a sorcerer? And I said, you know, that might be bringing some views and some things that, you know, I haven't played a From Software game since the summer. And people have wanted to see me do Dark Souls Remastered. Then again, a lot of people are tired of seeing me do From Software stuff. And we do have Sekiro right around the corner, so maybe that's not a good idea. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about a lot of stuff. Then what you guys got to remember is that right before Christmas, I'm going to be doing a few special Christmas things. I'm going to have like my holiday gaming marathon, where I'll be dressing up and drinking, and that'll be a whole day. Then on probably Christmas Eve, I'm going to be doing my Christmas podcast, where basically I just kind of talk with you guys about a lot of things, and let you guys know about basically what I thought about this year in particular. Let you know what I thought about all the games and all the streams and how things went in general, and share you Christmas memories and things. And it usually is fun. I did it last year. You guys really seem to enjoy it. So I definitely want to do that again. And then, once Christmas ends, then it's time for my year-end series. Then, what I'm going to be doing is a little bit less streaming every day. And instead, some days, not every day, but basically, I think like every other day, I'll be editing my year-end series, starting with the most disappointing games of 2018, and then, of course, my Game of the Year awards. So, there you go. That's pretty much what you guys can expect between now and the end of the year. All right. A lot of stuff. You know, ending playthroughs, beginning up with my extensive Smash coverage. Some kind of an RPG thrown in the mix there. Keep in mind, there will still be ongoing coverage of things such as Black Ops 4. I'm still going to be doing Blackout and maybe some multiplayer from time to time. That's not going away. And if people so desire to see other downtime things come back, like, for example, Street Fighter V. Haven't played it in months. And I know people liked when I played it. Maybe that'll come back as a thing, you know, a time killer thing. We'll see, because basically, it's not until late January that new releases start coming out. And once they start coming out, they don't stop. So, like, it's in late January, boom. Like the third week of January, I believe. It's either the third or fourth week. It's, like, insane amount, like 2 or 3 games. And then in February, like, every game or every other week, there's another game. And it's going to be nuts from January, February, March, like, pretty much into, like, early spring. It's going to be very busy with new releases this coming year, okay? Yes, absolutely, Ms. Green Stuff, I'll be playing the Resident Evil 2 remake. Alright, so I just talked for 20 minutes, But I just wanted to give you guys a pretty good preview of what you can expect. All right, I mean, it's the end of November now. This is it. We're heading into the final month of the year. I do want to say this as well. So far this year, thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate it very much. Just to reiterate what I talked about a week ago, right now, financially, things aren't so great for me. And certainly it's not because you guys haven't contributed. It's because of a lot of just shitty things happening within the last couple of years that kind of culminated this year for me to the point where now I'm pretty boned because I just don't have money to pay taxes and stuff coming up next year. And so anything that you appreciate, wow. Anything that you contribute during this month is greatly appreciated. You know, as little as it can be, or, you know, for people who are going to be really generous if they so choose, it's all appreciated. It's going to help out tremendously. All right. And, you know, I'll be honest with you guys. This is the holiday season. I love being festive. I love being excited. It sucks that in the back of my head I have stupid financial shit going on, and I just want to be here and enjoy streams with you guys every day. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? And I know I have some special events, like I said, this Indies Marathon, this Christmas Marathon coming up, where more than likely people will come out and be supportive, and I appreciate that. But just so you know, please consider supporting if you can. It is greatly appreciated. Any kind of support that you lend. Right now, I'm trying to raise as much as I possibly can in the next few months so that I can hopefully get past this big hurdle coming up in, you know, April, tax-wise. And once that's done, then hopefully moving on to the next stage. You know, hopefully refinancing my home and doing many other things that'll help me out. Okay? All right, I'll talk more about that in the future. I don't really want to talk about it today. I just don't. But I'm just throwing that out there because we are entering into the final month of the year. Okay? All right, so everybody, thank you very much for all of your support. Let's very quickly cover some plugs. All right, and then we will jump into thank yous for those who've contributed, and then we'll get started with Spyro. Sound good? So I've already mentioned Patreon, guys. You guys already know about the upcoming Christmas event. You can become a part of that event if you pledge today. You only have, at this point, 13 hours left to pledge to my Patreon for the month of November. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I did not see the response I expected this month. I thought, oh, Christmas event, now's an opportunity people will want to become a patron to nominate and vote on the games for this upcoming Christmas event, especially because this year, the criteria is different from last year. Last year, I just said, oh, you can only do holiday-themed games. No, this year, I opened it up completely. I said, you can nominate anything. You want to nominate a fighting game. You want to nominate a shooter game. You want to nominate an RPG, a stealth game, a Dark Souls-esque game, or you want to nominate holiday-themed games. Whatever you want to nominate, I'm leaving it wide open for a big variety gameplay stream on you know, my holiday marathon. And I thought this will definitely get people excited, right? And not really. I think I had 2 people in the last 2 weeks who even pledged to my Patreon. So obviously, it didn't really spur, you know, really excite too many people. There's only 13 hours left if you want to get into this, all right? And you want to be able to nominate and vote on the games. I cannot emphasize enough how much power you have if you become a patron in this particular case. There's probably about, no lie, 15 to 20 people who will be nominating and voting on games at this point. And if you actually jump in and pledge today, you'll be one of those people. That's a lot of freaking power. You know what I mean? You're going to formulate what I do on my holiday stream. So please consider pledging. Patreon.com/DarksidePhil. Oh, by the way, that is correct, Katakuri. He says Christmas Royal Rumble. Yeah, this year is a pretty special year when it comes to wrestling sims. I'm going to be doing 2 different kinds of wrestling sims around Christmas. One is going to be in Fire Pro Wrestling, and one's going to be in WWE. So I'm going to be doing 2 different completely sets of Christmas wrestling chaotic sims. And I'm sure by now they've got so many fantasy characters and everything created in these games. These sims are going to be out of fucking control. And that is coming up right around Christmas as well. It's another one of my yearly Christmas events that I do. What crazy fantasy characters will show up in my fantasy sims this year? I guess we'll see. Okay? All right. So, folks, Patreon, please give it a look. Patreon.com/DarksidePhil. Thank you to anyone who pledges. I appreciate that. 13 hours left to pledge for this month. Okay? Then, of course, next month, early on, I'll be announcing a new goal for Patreons. All right? Okay. Moving on. I have a Teespring merchandise store where you can buy all kinds of fun merch, including what the hell is this? Hold on. Excuse me. All right, no worries. I got an email about people are upset about Red Dead Online's economy, and I just read it quickly, but nothing too important. Okay. I have a merchandise store on Teespring where I sell all kinds of fun stuff: t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, mugs. I currently have a holiday themed line of products up there, but I also have a 10th anniversary line of products that celebrated my decade anniversary as a content creator earlier this year. I've also got some tried and true designs that have been bestsellers over the last 2 years that I've used Teespring. Please give it a look. Anything you buy from my Teespring helps me out, but you get a really cool high quality product that I stand behind because I own a bunch of these products myself, and they're very high quality. I purposely pick the higher quality shirts and the like so that you will get a better product, and I make less profit, but I'd rather have you have a quality product that's going to last, okay? So check it out at teespring.com/stores/DSPGaming. Forewarning everyone, okay? Just so you know, FYI, Teespring is not a business that has stock, just sitting around. They're a made-to-order business. What that means is when you order, they make what you ordered, and then they mail it to you. But there's some lead time because of that. It takes about a week or so for them to process anything you order, and then they create it, and then they ship it. So FYI, if you're looking to get something for Christmas, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to wait till the week before, you're probably not going to get it in time for Christmas. I'm just warning you. If you definitely want to get something in time for Christmas, you need to order far ahead, okay? So please consider it, all right? Please consider it. All right. Now, if you're here live on the stream and you would like interaction today, you'd like maybe a shout-out for any contribution that you give today, it is much appreciated anything that you do contribute, and I will give you a shout-out. If you either cheer with bits, subscribe to the channel, or tip me, okay? However, much like anywhere else on the planet, there are some rules, and these rules ensure that, number one, I stay in line with Twitch's terms of service, and number two, that everyone has a fun and productive and positive stream. And so here are for said rules. Number one, please stay positive. Please, no insults against myself, against other streamers, against other stream chatters. Insults are not allowed on the stream. Number two, please don't bring in negativity. If we're here having a fun time, the last thing we need to hear about is some jackass out there who's talking shit, who's insulting myself or others, who's restreaming my content illegally, who's stealing, who's doing something nasty. Nobody cares. Let them do their own thing. My stream is a place where people come to hang out and have fun and be positive, and we don't need to hear about all those negative influences, which is another reason why I don't allow big controversial discussions and topics on the stream. For example, politics, religion. Even though every once in a while we may we might just gloss over these topics. That's the word I was looking for, gloss. It's not something that we allow as a major discussion on the stream, because these are topics that divide people and make people basically get angry at each other. When people come to my streams, what they're really looking to do is to get an escape from reality. All day you're bombarded with all kinds of drama and nonsense and stressful stuff. The last thing you need to do is then come to my stream and have that continue, right? So that's why we have these rules in effect. Everyone can come here and just chill and hang out and feel relaxed and having a good time. Watch me play a game. Enjoy my honest reactions, whether I'm raging, whether I'm enjoying myself, whatever it may be. You get to see that live and enjoy it for yourself. React as you see fit. Hang out with people in the stream chat and talk with them. Hang out with me, talk with me. That's the whole point of the stream, having a chill time and a fun time, not being all stressed out and full of drama and crap, right? So that's why we have these rules in effect. In general, most people get them. They understand them. And the streams in general are quite positive, so thanks for that, everybody. Now, if you'd like to go a step further and you'd like to see a fun thank you animation play on the stream in conjunction with your contributions, if you either cheer 100 bits or more in a single cheer, $5 or more in a single tip, or if you subscribe to the channel and wait a couple minutes, and then you click on that share button that will appear afterward, okay? In any event, you're all going to get a thank you animation to play on the stream, okay? Pretty neat. So it's visual recognition in conjunction with your verbal recognition that I'm going to give you with your shout-out, okay? Now, if you'd like to see a fun holiday-themed thank you animation, tip me $5 or more during today's stream, and you'll see a cool, Christmassy deal go on as well, all right? Now, as you guys can see at the top of the stream, there's a stream stats leaderboard. This is going to track the current top cheerer and top tipper of the day for even more extra recognition, as well as a running tally of subs, which I'll keep track of during the course of today. We also have a bits leaderboard, which is integrated, into the stream chat here on Twitch. That will be updated automatically during the course of today. And more than likely, I will read through that and give some extra recognition to people before we begin with our gameplay today, okay? Outside of that, you guys know all about subbing. You know, subbing to the channel gives you many benefits, including things such as access to all of the fun emotes that I have here on the stream, okay? It allows you to have a cool Chat Crown loyalty badge, which were just newly redesigned recently. People really seem to like the new badges, and basically inspired a few people to sub who normally wouldn't. And you don't have to watch advertisements when I take ad breaks, so some major benefits to subscribing. And then last but not least, guys, as I've already mentioned, when it comes to tipping is a way to contribute that has nothing to do with Amazon or Twitch integration, you know, which cheering and subbing do. It's a way to contribute outside of those if maybe you so choose. And also tipping does help me out a lot. And like I said, if you tip $5 or more, you're going to have a fun Christmas animation play to say thank you. So how do you tip? There's two ways. If you look below the stream, there's a button that says tip jar. Or you can just type !tip into the stream chat, which will bring up a link. Either way, it'll take you to the tips page where you can either be anonymous or leave a name and a message if you so choose to contribute and help me out. All right, guys? All right. That's it for the plugs. It's now time for the thank yous. So let's get to the thank yous. Oh, by the way, I should mention this. There's a new command in the stream chat, !sub. For those who maybe the sub button doesn't work, or maybe you are visually impaired, and you need a way to subscribe that you can actually figure out, because Super Blind Man was on here the other day, and he was like, dude, you know, I can't even, if I wanted to sub to your channel, I couldn't, because it's not handicapped accessible to actually subscribe on Twitch. I was like, really? So we created this new command, !sub. If you type that into the stream chat, it'll bring up an actual link in the stream chat you can click on and take you to directly to the subs page, foregoing all the menus that handicapped people can't access. Pretty cool, right? I like that. So I want to say again, thank you to Super Blind Man for that. That was a really neat suggestion that I think is going to make my stuff more accessible, and that is pretty awesome. So pretty good time for that too during the holiday season to add something, you know, that makes things more accessible to people. Hey, that's A-okay with me and right up my alley in my opinion. So, all right. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to some shout-outs, shall we? So first of all, overnight, Golden Colts came in and was very supportive. Good Lord. He did 4 200-bit cheers. First, he did the 2 Franker Z emotes, then some cupcake emotes, then some shamrocks, and then some salt. And then also this morning, Infinite55 did a 500-bit cheer. So thank you guys for your contributions overnight. They are much appreciated. As for actually during today's stream, an anonymous gifter actually gifted Miss Green Stuff a subscription. How nice. So congratulations, Miss Green Stuff, on receiving your first subscription to my channel. Thank you to whoever this anonymous gifter was that gifted Miss Green Stuff the sub. Very nice and appreciated the support. Welcome to the club. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next year in January, I am going to have a new initiative. It is an idea that actually a viewer and fan and longtime supporter of mine had and suggested it, and I said, this sounds really cool. It's something that I'll be launching next year in January. I don't want to spoil it right now, because now we're in the holiday season and we got stuff going on already. We got too much going on right now. We don't need to go too overboard, okay? But starting in January, I will have a brand new thing going on, and that's all I'm going to say for now. I'll keep teasing it during December, I'm sure, and I think you guys will really like what we got in store for 2019, okay? All right. Shout out to Stinkin' Burrows, who did a 206-bit cheer. Thank you very much, Stinkin' Burrows. Let me go ahead and get Stinkin' Burrows up on the leaderboard, the only cheerer so far for today's stream. 206 bits. Thank you, thank you. Excuse me. Ooh. And Jana, excuse me, I can't read. Let's try this again. Jar Hammer has subscribed to the channel for the 9th month in a row, and says, 9-month subscriber, longtime fan, keep up the good work, Phil. Thank you very much, Jarhammer, for that sub, all right? Okay, so before we get started with Spyro, what I also want to do is I want to give credit to the top 10 cheer contributors of the week. I want to give you guys your time in the sun here. So, first of all, in tie for 10th place, these people are tied for the final spot on the leaderboard. MTC Dude and Big Boy Abides, a tie for 10th place. In 8th place, The Legend DSP. In 7th place, Grazy Dream. In 6th place, Third Eye the Third, and he's actually tied with Ripley Atomic for 6th place, which means the next person would be Baby Man Gaming in 4th place. In 3rd place, we've got Stinkin' Burrows. That cheer he just did actually jumped him up quite a few spots on the leaderboard. Infinite 55 is currently in 2nd place, and then sitting there in 1st, firmly, Golden Colts. Don't worry if you're looking to get up on that leaderboard. You have many days. You got today, tomorrow, and Sunday still to jump on and contribute. No problem. Thank you guys again for all of your support. Thanks for listening to my pre-stream. It was a very informative pre-stream today, right? Oh, Eternal Napalm just did a 100-bit cheer. He asks, how has From Software changed you as a gamer? Do you ever crave a FromSoft game when it's been a few months since playing one? Well, I'm going to be very honest with you, Eternal Napalm. This is a very interesting question. It has changed me as a gamer. Because when I started this whole thing, when I started being a gamer on YouTube, and I'm going to say that because I started off as a YouTube gamer, even though today I'm primarily a streamer, remember, my roots were in the on-demand viewership of YouTube, all right? When I started off this whole wild ride, I had zero intention of ever doing it seriously at all. Like, I wasn't going to be a business, nothing. It was just me doing a hobby. I never even thought that I would monetize a video and make any money on it. So when I first started, it wasn't a serious thing. It was kind of me just, like, dicking around. I didn't really care too much about the quality of the video I put out. As long as I just put out a silly video with me doing commentary over gameplay, I didn't really care what kind of gameplay it was. And even though people have been begging me to play Dark Souls for a long time when it came out, I kind of ignored it for a couple weeks. And finally, I played the game, and I hated it. Because I didn't know anything about the franchise. I hadn't played Demon's Souls. I didn't have a strategy guide. I actually wanted the strategy guide, and it was completely sold out in my state. Let's try that again. In my state, you could not buy the Dark Souls strategy guide because so many people didn't know how to fucking play the game. They went out and bought them all. So, basically, that was a game that I was not equipped for. I'd never played a game that was difficult before, besides maybe some NES games from back in the day that were incredibly difficult and just cripplingly tough. Dark Souls threw me for a loop. Up to that point, from like 2008 to 2010, all the games that I had played had been a lot more casualized and a lot more easy. Dark Souls basically tore me a new asshole. Alright, it did. And so, I quit the game at the time. And people, of course, thought it was the most hilarious thing they'd ever seen. This casual gamer who was known for basically, you know, kind of stinking at games and just doing funny commentary and raging on YouTube, tried to play Dark Souls, he got completely destroyed, and he quit the game, right? But then I came back to it. You know, 2 years later, or was it 2 years later? I think it was 2 years, if not 3 years later. I came back to the game when I was live streaming. And I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, I basically still sucked at it. I did not get any better. But because I was live streaming, people were able to join me with co-op and basically show me the game. And say, look, Phil, if you had continued to play, look at all this amazing stuff you would have seen. You would have seen this epic library, the Crystal Caverns, you know, all this fun, really varied endgame content that you missed out on because you just quit in Blighttown, right? And after kind of having my eyes opened in that regard, I was like, wow, I had a new respect for this game franchise, and I realized, man, even though the game runs like shit on this console, the game itself has a big scope, and the game developers actually did a really great job of putting in a ton of content and a variety of stuff that would make you really love the game. And I was kind of disappointed that I basically was sucked at games and wasn't good enough to really do much with it. Now, over the years, what has happened is I have gained such a respect for From Software games that I've played them again and again and again. If you remember Dark Souls 1, so we had my original run, then we had basically what I'd call the tour of Dark Souls that I did in 2013 when I first started live streaming. And then just a couple years ago, we had the Redemption run, where I went back after having played games like Dark Souls 2 and 3 and Bloodborne, and I tried to legitimately go through the game myself, and I did a hell of a lot better in that run than I had done previously, okay? So after all that, and then of course, you know, playing Dark Souls 2 twice, playing Dark Souls 3 twice, playing Bloodborne twice, and playing Demon's Souls twice, I've now basically, it's changed me for a gamer, and it basically makes me now appreciate games that have a harder difficulty. Like, I used to be the kind of gamer where I would play a game, and if it's really beating the shit out of me, I would say, fuck this, it's not worth it. Because for me, my old mentality used to be that video games, when I play them, they're meant to relax me. I'm supposed to be having silly fun, even though when I play Street Fighter, I rage. That was like the exception to the rule. When I play Street Fighter, I'm allowed to take it seriously and rage if I lose. But outside of that, if I'm going to play a video game, I'm supposed to be relaxing. I'm supposed to be getting, some kind of stress relief out of it. And if I'm playing a game that's beating the shit out of me, I don't really get that stress relief. In fact, it's just creating more stress, right? But now, now that I play these games, I basically don't approach it like that anymore. And having, like I said, the newfound respect that I do, and of course the fact that I'm much better at them now. Now I play a lot more carefully, apprehensively. I don't just walk straight into danger. And, now that I kind of know how the From Software formula works, I know that I do a lot better in them, and I enjoy them more anyway. I'll be honest, yes, going back to Dark Souls and going through the game with a new build or a new weapon or a new methodology of playing it is actually quite refreshing. Like, for example, when I played Dark Souls 2 again, but I did a dual wielding build, that was super fun because it was so different from my original playthrough where I was basically a guy just tossing fucking lightning bolts constantly, right? So that being said, all that being said, basically, I think that it's a great opportunity for me to grow playing these games, and I've definitely matured and grown as a gamer, and I do feel that being the person I am today, I'm a very different person than I was when I started back in the day, But you know what? Back in the day when I started on YouTube, that was a different era. That was 10 years ago. People were looking for something totally different. They got it with me. And now over the years, I've changed and matured into a much better person and a better gamer, and people like that about me, and that's why they still hang out with me versus, those who don't, those who, oh, well, Phil changed for the worse. Like, no, but if today I was the same person I was 10 years ago, I wouldn't even be allowed on YouTube or Twitch. Things have changed so much, right? Since back then, so much that there's just no way that we'd be able to do the same kind of thing. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't be viable. So, I think it's pretty cool, and I thanks for the question. That's a great question, Eternal Napalm. Yeah, I definitely think From Software games actually changed me as a gamer. It made me appreciate games of high difficulty level, and not just dismiss them immediately or rage at them constantly, but instead, at the very least, attempt to get better at them. Perfect example here is Darksiders 3. They really tried to make the combat where you die 1 to 2 hits, no matter what. And, I could have just said, fuck this game and quit it, but instead, today, I stick with it, and, that's kind of the difference, so. Alright, shout out to Storm Raider 48, who says, my Patreon needs an update. It says, Ask the King is once a month, and my YouTube is demonetized. Actually, does not say my YouTube is demonetized. It says my YouTube was demonetized in the summer. It just doesn't say that it eventually got monetization back. As for Ask the King saying it's once a month, you may perfectly be right. I might have to check that. It is every other month, and it has been every other month for 2 years. So, yeah, maybe I need to update the wording there. You're absolutely right. But okay, I'll give it a look. I'll give it a look later today. Thanks for the heads up. I always appreciate a heads up when something like that happens because sometimes I'm not aware. I'll give you an example. The other day, someone contacted me and said, Phil, are you aware you have 2 Part 71s for your Dragon Quest playthrough? I said, huh? What do you mean? And I looked at the playlist and there was only one. I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, no, really, look. And they searched and there were 2 Part 71s. Apparently one of them I didn't put into the playlist. And because of that, I didn't know it existed. And then I made another one. So the whole playthrough was screwed up and I had to fix it. Those kind of heads ups are always appreciated because I do so much, gameplay, guys. It's very hard for me to keep track of what I'm doing. I do so much on a daily basis. Having outdated stuff on Patreon, I'm never going to catch that myself. So thank you for that, and I will. I'll give all this stuff a look later today. Thank you. Thanks for all of that. All right, everybody. Well, I guess it's time. It is time for us to begin with Spyro. 4+ hours. Let's see how far I can get in Spyro today. Thanks again for all your support. Reminder, last day, last chance to pledge to my Patreon and get in on the holiday marathon. That's number 1. Number 2, please consider contributing today, and if you do, I'll give you a shout out. Top cheerer and top tipper will get up on that leaderboard. All right, guys? Okay. By the way, one final thing. We are starting December shortly. I think you guys are really going to like the goal that I'm setting up for December when it comes to subscriptions and patrons pledging, because it's something that people really had a very positive response to previously, and I think that you guys are going to like to see it. So just a hint, I know I'm talking a lot about the holidays because they're right around the corner, but the next thing we're going to do in January, I think you guys are really going to enjoy, okay? All right. Thank you. Let's end the pre-stream. Let's begin. Ow, that was my neck cracking. Oh, stiff neck. Let's begin Spyro 3. All righty then. I clicked the wrong thing. Hold on.